When it comes to financial abundance and changing your life from going broke to going somewhere with your finance, in my previous video, I shared with you that you really need to change your mindset, really need to believe that there's abundance of money around, there's plenty of it, that you need to change the things that you say to yourself, that you need to be grateful. But those are all the mindset stuff. What you need to do next are the practical steps, which I'm going to share with you in this video. Hi everybody, it's Linh Podetti here. If you're new to this channel, I'm an entrepreneur and a mother of three, and my mission is to help you guys achieve time and financial freedom. But before I go straight into my video, if you're new to this, please support me by subscribing to my channel, and you'll be notified about my videos every single week. And if you have any Vietnamese friends, let them know that I actually have some videos in Vietnamese that I've started to launch out every single week as well, so that they could learn what you learn but in Vietnamese. Okay, so step one is, if you think that you're not a finance person or you don't really like numbers, you need to change that straight away. So like you know, back in the days, I always knew how to save money, but when it came to personal finance, it was a bit easier for me because, you know, when you work a 9-to-5 job, you've got the same income, you sort of, well, when you don't have kids as well, it's a more manageable kind of finance situation. But when you start to run a business like myself, I run a recruitment company, and I've got all these, unpredictable revenue, unpredictable expenses and things. I remember why my business cash flow was challenging is because I said to myself, I'm not a numbers person. Because I said that to myself, I refused to look at my numbers. Whenever the accountant gave me the balance sheet and the profit and loss, I sort of glance over it and I don't even know what it is. Those reports are not as important as the everyday sort of management of my money. And it wasn't until, a few years later when I really cared about the day-to-day measurement of where the money's coming in, where it's coming out, and really monitor. It's like the saying goes, so unless you measure everything that is going in and out with your finance, you're not going to be able to take your finance to another level. It's like when you're trying to lose weight or change your body shape. So unless you actually measure, let's say you're trying to lose weight, unless you're measuring the progress of your waist length or your shape, you're not going to know where you're at to be able to know where you're going to go. Same as with finance. If you don't really track what's going in and what's going out and knowing where all the expenses and income is going, you're not going to be able to change it. So you have to stop saying to yourself that I'm not good with numbers and hire the right people. So I myself use an outsourced bookkeeping service. They also tell me all of my numbers, the stats about my numbers, like compare it from month before, month now, why is it gone up, why is it gone down? So I really understand where the numbers is going. Unless you care about your numbers, you're not going to be able to change. So if you don't own a business and you're just really wanting to take care of your own personal finance, I recommend using apps like Pocketbook. I think it's called Pocketbook. It is an app that integrates with all your bank accounts and things, and it extracts all of your transactions, and you're able to actually categorize which ones are of certain expense so that you can really see where you're spending your money. And the next tip I have for you is just really spend what you can afford. And when I say spend, try to even spend on things that actually add value to your life. We often get carried away with buying materialistic things, I don't know, somehow luckily my parents sort of brought me up quite humble in a sense. They used to just drive really old cars and always bought secondhand things. So I never felt the need to go for the most expensive things or the brand. So I just grew up just wanting what works rather than what looks, what's branded. So I'm lucky in that sense. So I never even got myself an expensive handbag until later on in my maybe 30s, when I could afford it. But I never sort of buy things that I couldn't afford. The only thing that I hated that I was spending was maybe on alcohol. When I was younger, if I could turn back time, I probably wouldn't buy so much alcohol every single week, drinking. But then again, those are the great memories with my friends. So I don't regret that part. Now, when I say spending, it's like, don't spend because someone else has got something that you want in terms of materialistic things. And when it comes to material things, from my experience, it really doesn't give you happiness. The things that give you happiness is traveling, experiences, giving to others. And the money that I spend a lot on is like things that go up in value. I'm talking about learning something, going to a course, a seminar, even a year's worth of education. Because remember, after your first 12 years of schooling, you've got the opportunity to learn anything you want to be able to take your business to, or your life to another level. So why not spend on things that it's going to add value to yourself, to be able to make more money for yourself. The next thing you need to do is really think about how are you going to make more income. So the thing about why I love about business is that, you know, you're able to create a money machine that can generate more money rather than a capped income. But if you're working for someone or you're in a job and you really enjoy this stability, it doesn't mean you can't build wealth in other ways. There's properties, there's shares, there is also affiliate marketing where you don't have to do the product, fulfill the product or services. You just refer people to other people's services and make recurring income. Even my business has a program, so if you're interested, let me know. So you have to really think about how else you can make money, because if you rely on just the one income, first of all, it's just very risky. Second of all, you can't have more, you can't create more wealth. You want to be able to make more money to be able to make more wealth with that money. And the last tip I have is setting things up on direct debit. So first thing you need to set on direct debit is actually paying yourself. So decide an amount that you want to pay yourself. Pay yourself as if you want to, it's like a savings account for yourself, that it's like a wealth building account. And decide on that amount, whether it's 10% of your income or a fixed amount of money every month. And schedule that on a direct debit facility. Because what you want to do is you want to pay yourself first. Don't save after you've already paid out all your expenses, because there's never any money left. When you pay yourself, pay your savings, pay the things that you need that will help with your wealth creation, whatever's left is what you can use to buy things. Because even if you, so of course the bills and the utilities and things you have to pay, so you're going to find ways to pay that. But you need to start to have that mindset where paying yourself is just as important. And once you do that, whatever's left, then you can buy your luxury things or things that you want. Because if you don't do it that way, you'll always end up with not enough money to save for yourself. And finally, if I had to give you my one last tip, is be generous in life. I find that in my life, the more generous I am, the more I give out, the more money comes in miraculous ways. So, life is really about giving. Whether you want financial abundance or not, it doesn't mean that you just try to hoard it, like whatever money you have, you just keep because you never have enough. The more you give, the more you share with others. Somehow the universe starts to bring you more opportunities, just more ways for more money to come in. So that little part, the last part, seems like a bit hokey pokey or fluffy, but it actually is the most important part that I really think that has made my life change, because I've always thought about how can I serve others, how can I be generous to others, and every time I've done that, I find money sitting around somewhere, or meet the right person, meet the right opportunities, and that's how my life has really transformed into another level. So thank you so much for watching, and before I go, let me know what is your challenge with your finance? Like, what do you find that's the most difficult in handling your finance? Love to hear your questions, so I could make another video about it, or reply in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.